Hey there. So if you live in a cold growing zone like I do here in Zone 3, Saskatchewan, Canada, then late fall is when you want to get your garlic planted, usually about 4 to 6 weeks before your ground is going to freeze. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to be planting up a couple varieties of hardneck garlic, get it set up in this raised garden bed, get it insulated and protected for the winter season so that in the spring, we'll see some sprouting. So garlic loves rich, well-drained soil, and I like to start by adding some compost. So I have mixed up some aged manure here, sifted it a little bit so it's a little bit finer. I've mixed in some vermiculite, and I also added some bone meal and blood meal mixture because that works great to help for that root development. So you want your soil nice and loose so those cloves can send their roots down deep before winter sets in. So as I mentioned, if you're in a cold growing zone, say zone 3 to zone 7, where you're going to have a cold winter spell, you want to try and get these garlic bulbs into your garden space about 4 to 6 weeks before that ground freezes hard. So today when I'm filming this, it's the first day of fall, September 22nd. So it's time for me to get these planted up. If you live in a warmer zone, maybe that 4, 5, 6, 7, you still have time all the way into mid-October to get these garlic planted up. So the hardneck garlic variety is the best to plant in cold climates like we live. There is the soft neck varieties that are best suited for planting maybe in the spring in warmer zones. So today I'm just doing two varieties. They are quite similar. I got the Russian red and Siberian. So when you're getting your bulbs ready, you want to definitely take them apart so that you have the individual. Something to keep in mind when you're taking them apart is to always just try to use the bigger cloves. So bigger cloves will result in bigger garlic bulbs next year. So I've already taken out those smaller ones and you can just cook with them and eat them. And I've got a really nice selection of big garlic bulbs here that are ready to plant. You want to make sure you leave some of that dried peeling on there just to help protect them. This is the bottom of the clove right here. This is where the roots are going to develop from, and this is the top. So when you're planting it, you're going to be planting it this way into the ground. So I'm just going to mark it out with my hori knife here. I like to plant about 2 to 3 inches deep and then keep them about 4 to 6 inches apart. Because I'm doing it in a raised garden bed that's going to be cold. I get very cold winters. I want to kind of keep them away from the edge so that they are insulated as best possible. So I'm just going to go around and start kind of marking out where I'm going to be planting everything, and then we'll start sticking in the bulbs. So garlic is a heavy feeder, so you want to make sure that you got some really good quality soil. As I said, I'm using some well-aged manure as my compost. I've added some blood and bone meal. I have pre-dug my holes, and now I'm just going to give it another little boost by putting some worm casting into each hole before I put the garlic bulb in there. So I'm just going to put a little handful into each. So to give it another little extra nourishment of good stuff that it can get its roots developed. And then in the spring when these start sprouting, I will probably give them another boost of fertilization. If you don't have worm castings, maybe just a little bits of some basic organic fertilizer, just kind of a general 4-4-4 would work. Something a little higher in nitrogen is best. So I'm going to start with the Siberian, and as I said, the little flat piece goes down. That's where the roots are going to come out of, pointy side up. And I'm going to push them down so they're in there 2 to 3 inches. So I have room for a few more, so I am going to plant up another hardneck variety called Music. These are a little bit sweeter from what I've read. They're a good hardneck variety that is hardy to our zone here. I've never grown this variety before, so we're going to see how those turn out. They don't have that purple stripe look like the other two varieties that I did, and they are a little bit smaller garlic bulb. So we'll give them a try, put them here in these last 6 holes that we got. So guys, if you are enjoying these cold climate gardening tips, why not check out our community located on the Skool platform, Gardeners Growing Together. So this is a very interactive community of gardeners from all around the world. Lots of cold climate gardeners, lots of gardeners from warm climates, and we just chat about, gardening problems, wins, share recipes, share tips. And I offer some training inside there as well. We do webinars, we have live Q&A sessions, all sorts of stuff going on that you can be a part of and help learn to grow year-round inside our community. So I have a planner that I offer for free that you can download once you join the community. So just check out the link in the description box below. Join our community Gardeners Growing Together, and I will send you that year-round gardening planner. Okay, so we now have 28 cloves of hardneck garlic all planted up here in my raised garden bed. So now it's just simply covering them up with the dirt here. I'm going to add a layer of crushed up dried leaves that will act as an insulator, as well as they will break down over the winter under that snow, add a little more nutrients to the soil. And then we're going to finish off with a good layer of straw. So these are actually leaves that I collected last fall. I went over them with my bagger mower just to kind of chop them up a little bit finer. I've been using them as mulch all summer around some of my plants. So these are really well broken down already. These will break down faster being in small chunks like this. Get. So I'm just going to wet this down a little bit just to kind of compact it down a little bit. I don't want the wind to blow away all these leaves. Usually in the fall it gets pretty windy and lots of times your mulch gets blown away. So I'm just going to give this a good soaking, and then we'll put some straw on top. If you don't happen to have access to straw, then just put extra layers of dried leaves. Just make sure you got a really thick layer of it. Maybe just kind of keep adding as it gets closer to freeze up. And something like a frost cloth, an insulated frost cloth, can be laid over the top too. You can pick those up off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description box. I'm lucky to have a few bales of straw here, so I'm going to put those on the top here. What's your favorite variety of garlic to plant? If you haven't planted garlic before, you got a little space in your garden, why not give it a try? Pop some of those garlic cloves right now in the fall and enjoy what comes up in the spring. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next video. Hope to see you inside our community, Gardeners Growing Together.